The film starts with Peter going home with a story that says, consistently, we approach our schedules. Work, home, family. However, who are we? Who am I? You assume you know your lovely spouse, your cute children, and who you work for. In any case, consider the possibility that you don't. Furthermore, reality, when you knew it, would make a huge difference. Peter has been having dreams about worldwide obliteration. While we are made to accept that these are feelings, however, it's just him recollecting the past. Alice has been encouraging him to go see a specialist. Peter rejects yet says he'll get off promptly at night and they can hang out with the children by the wharf. David discovers Peter mishandling at work. David grasps these side effects and encourages Peter to get to a facility to look for help. Peter isn't persuaded. He inquires as to whether he could leave early and David concurs and inconspicuously specifies the facility as remuneration. This facility is set up for that multitude of robots whose smothered recollections are springing back up. This is the very center at the bots at first head to supplant their recollections. At her work environment, Alice has as of late been advanced. She also requests to early leave. Peter goes home yet falls oblivious and has a fantasy once more. He sees the television representative discussing how mankind will be ruled. As watchers, we're not determined what's going on with or who this discussion. At the point when David gets up, it's late around evening time. He surges home, and on the way, he sees lights overhead. While he believes it's to him, he's really seeing them. It's the human boats getting ready to fight back. Peter gets himself a telescope. At home, the children are annoyed with Peter for missing family time, and when he returns home, he lets Alice know that he swooned. Peter feels that how the situation is playing out isn't simply dreams, yet forewarnings. Peter has one more dream in the evening, and this time he sees Lucy and Hannah sitting by two dead individuals. This persuades us to think that Peter's dreams are looks at the future where they will pass on, yet at the same it's not. Next morning, Peter apologizes to Lucy. They strategically show that Peter is great with electric circuits as he fixes Lucy's toy. He calls the facility and takes an arrangement. At the center, another patient lets Peter know that he also has been having whole-world destroying dreams, which persuades Peter about his hypothesis of hunches, and he leaves. The other patient, nonetheless, can't carry on with his existence with the dreams and goes in to fix himself. Peter returns home to clear up for Alice. Consider the possibility that he was intended to see these dreams, to which Alice contrasts. These are neighbors and are at the party that Alice has tossed for her advancement at home. Peter is detached and utilizing his telescope to gaze into the skies. Something sharp to note in this party is that there is no food or beverages. It isn't what bots do when they hang out. As the party closes, Beam heads to the gallery to join Peter to inquire as to whether he might want to bid farewell. All of a sudden the bay windows up, and they see objects falling. Peter is happy that Beam can see this as well, and it's not a greater amount of his dreams. Just later, a sonic blast sends the glass of the multitude of structures into pieces. They run in for cover. Alice, Peter, and Lucy pull together. Hannah and Megan, Beam's and Samantha's girl, are nowhere to be found. Beam proposes that the young ladies should be at his place. A crisis broadcast gets going requesting that everybody advance toward the closest government office. Keep in mind, there are a gathering who have been arranged during the current day. They are the ones broadcasting. As Peter glances through the window, a spaceship flies by and starts shooting. Beam pulls Peter to somewhere safe. As they get out of the house and down the steps, they notice that there is currently a ground force making scopes and killing everyone. Peter and Beam make the ways for a lift and discover Hannah and Megan and pull them. Peter and Hannah return to home base to Alice and Lucy as Beam heads toward his place to get Samantha. Alice affirms with Peter that what's going on is from his dreams. While his fantasies have comparative circumstances from an earlier time, these occasions have never been seen by Peter, and accordingly, he can't relate the recent developments with his bad dreams. In any case, he feels that they ought to go to the production line. This is on the grounds that the processing plant is where they fended off the people quite a while back, and Peter has seen this in his dreams. Somebody comes busting at their entryway, which Peter blockades with furniture. Alice passes on Hannah and Lucy in a wardrobe to stow away and goes to help Peter. Lucy goes searching for her toy. By the side of the entryway, a sharp edge slices through the wall, and an outsider-looking life form enters. This is a human in a bio-suit and cap. Be that as it may, nobody, including the crowd, knows this. Peter and Alice rush to get the young ladies just to figure out that Lucy has strayed. Bio-suit chap finds Lucy under a table and contact her. By then Alice and Peter assault the poo out of bio-suit and leave him oblivious and make a run for it with his weapon. The rooftop is ablaze, them four head to the rooftop and join with Beam, Samantha, and Megan, who are concealing there. From the patio, they see how the demonstration is one of annihilation. They see a structure loaded with individuals, these are bots, being exploded by an art. Their main choice is to utilize a rusted help lift to go down. They start to plunge. And the lift before long clasps under their weight, they exit into a center floor without a moment to spare. Just later, Megan and Samantha are shot off. Peter gets the firearm working and kills his direction forward, the enduring four come to the roads. As they advance down, Lucy takes a gander at the lights of an oncoming boat and freezes like a deer. Alice gets her and races to the passage opening. As they drop, they get terminated at and fall into the passage. Everything isn't well, Alice is gravely stung. They start to set out toward the industrial facility, and Alice inquires as to whether this matches his dreams. He says no. Alice comprehends that she probably won't make it and requests that Peter safeguard the children. At this point Bio-suit Man has followed his firearm and followed the four underground. Once more Peter participates in a battle and outmaneuvers him. As he airs out the protective cap, we're shown that the individual inside the bio-suit is a human. Fellow in the bio-suit, okay, we should discuss this bio-suit individual. He's one of the people who's returned from Mars to review Earth. He goes by Miles. Like everybody, he was informed that the robots on Earth are savages and mercilessly killed and drove away every one of the people. While he came hoping to battle eliminators like T-101, he's seeing families and kids, robots, yet at the same time, who he would rather not kill. Alice goes oblivious and Peter powers Miles to convey her at gunpoint, and they head to the plant. At the point when they come to, the entryway opens and out comes a David who takes Peter and his family in. They likewise get Miles. This gathering is a lot of individuals who never had their recollections cleaned, consequently they aren't shocked to see a human under the bio-suit. A specialist runs diagnostics on Alice which starts to destroy her. This designer is one such with his recollections flawless. He's running diagnostics like anybody would on a robot, however it has all the earmarks of being destructive, according to a human viewpoint, thus, Peter begins going ballistic. He's additionally befuddled why David appears as though he's ready for this occasion of obliteration. David makes sense of that there is a neglected train station underneath them and they will go to a protected zone to make an arrangement to retaliate. The designer comes to Peter and says that Alice's framework is closing down and there is no way to help her, that they don't have the expected gear. Miles shouts out he can help. He says, "I needed to learn everything about your kin." Peter sends Hannah and Lucy with David and stays back with Alice to attempt to restore her. Miles utilizes a blade to cut into Alice and starts taking out certain cylinders. We're then, at that point, shown Alice has blue electronic parts for her inner parts. Peter is befuddled, as is Miles. He asks Peter, "You truly don't have the foggiest idea what you are," as Miles is likewise understanding that the robots have been living trusting themselves to be human. Miles says that Alice needs a substitute wellspring of force and focuses to Peter. Miles requests that Peter cut open his chest, and as Peter starts doing this, he understands that he has no problem. He opens his chest to uncover that he also is an android. Miles utilizes a link to plug into Peter and the opposite finish to Alice to control her up. Peter's recollections return some, he recalls the conflict and recognizes that his dreams were really recollections. Alice stir and she also expresses that she has every one of her recollections back. Peter inquires as to why Miles is helping them and he answers saying he didn't pursue killing youngsters and families, regardless of whether they were robots. The people break the production line and Miles urges Peter and Alice to leave while he covers for them saying he was separated from everyone else. Down underneath, the last train is set to leave, and the young ladies are trusting that Peter and Alice will appear. David comes in, gets the young ladies, and accepts them to the train as they ask to end for their folks. Peter and Alice figure out how to shoot their direction to the train which stops and gets them. A gun on the train wrecks the people who come following. Peter converses with David to figure out that David and a couple had kept their recollections to get ready during the current day and that presently everybody must recall, because this isn't finished. The train leaves and as it disregards the water, the tracks vanish under. The film closes with Peter's account, "I know who I'm currently and I know my foe. We're not so unique." Perhaps in the event that others can see that we'll have a future all things considered. This is to express that Peter comprehends that the people are his foe, yet in addition that people and robots are very comparative. On the off chance that the two sides can see that, then, at that point, there can be congruity, very much like Miles and Peter get going as adversaries and see each other to reconcile.